Hello everybody, it is Stockholder here with a new CCSS episode. Before I announce this month's winner, I want to inform you that I've renamed myself from the Stockholder to the Hidden Truth, so you won't be hearing my old name anymore. Also, this is the first suggestion where our newest team member Lupusam has cooperated with the team as a new judge. With that, we're going to jump to the actual suggestion, featuring Mandragora, the Ravenous Snapdragon, by our fellow summoner Boom the Bear. Mandragora is a manaless melee fighter who involves a resource called Gluttony throughout his kit. Every third consecutive attack against the same target and each unit killed will generate 1 Gluttony, and for each point of Gluttony Mandragora has, he gains bonus health regeneration based on his maximum health. Maximum Gluttony starts at 20. Whenever Gluttony is generated, it will set a timer of 15 seconds, which is reduced by taking damage from champions and turrets. Once the timer hits 0, he loses all Gluttony. We'll start with the ultimate ability, as it affects the champion greatly. The ultimate, Feral Overgrowth, is available at level 1 and changes depending on Mandragora's current number of heads. It passively increases the maximum Gluttony storage as well. If Mandragora is below his head cap, he can consume Gluttony to create an additional head. Whenever he makes a basic attack, each additional head strikes at the same target, dealing 15% of his attack damage and proccing on hit effects with greatly reduced result. Mandragora can grow 1 more head each ultimate rank with a cap of 4 additional heads at level 16. The cost for a new head increases the more heads he currently has. Each head has a separate health equal to a fifth of Mandragora's max health, losing health whenever Mandragora takes damage except from jungle creeps, but only 1 extra head can be damaged at a time. Every head's health will be regenerated by any effect that heals Mandragora. If he has his maximum number of heads, the ult is instead used to consume 20% of Mandragora's maximum health, together with all of his Gluttony to shoot 1 of the additional heads towards the cursor. When the head reaches the targeted point, it will become a Snapdragon minion and bury itself into the ground, remaining invisible to enemies. When an enemy steps in range, the head will emerge and start attacking that enemy, dealing damage based on Gluttony consumed to Mandragora's stats. Snapdragons have 20% of Mandragora's maximum health as their own health. The maximum number of active Snapdragon minions allowed also increases with the level of the ultimate. Now that we have the ultimate covered, let's go on with the first ability, called Showdown. It instantly bites an enemy, dealing an amount of damage to the target which increases if that enemy is at or below half health. Showdown also generates additional Gluttony per active head, and if it kills the target, another 2 Gluttony are generated. For each additional head active, Showdown cleaves the area in front for a percentage of the damage, but the primary target is not hit by the cleave. Let's continue with its second ability, Tongue Lash. It will cost 10% of Mandragora's maximum health and generate up to 5 Gluttony. Mandragora will send out his tongue, which attaches to any enemy champion hit, slowing it and speeding Mandragora up. At the end, the enemy is pulled a slight bit towards Mandragora. He can reactivate this ability to end the effect earlier, but increasing the pull on the enemy. For each head Mandragora possesses, the casting and pull ranges are increased. This leads to Gastric Spit/Swallow, Mandragora's third ability. The passive provides gastric charges generated every 10 seconds, which is reduced by CDR, and killing units with showdown or basic attacks will reduce the time till the next charge is generated by 1 second. Each extra head allows Mandragora to store an additional gastric charge. Gastric Spit spits acid towards an enemy, which will deal magic damage and reduce the target's armor. The first enemy the projectile touches will intercept the acid and take the damage and debuff instead. The armor reduction stacks up to 5 times, but each stack reduces damage of further Gastric Spit projectiles by 50%. Casting the skill in this way costs 5 Gluttony as well as 1 Gastric Charge. When cast on himself, Mandragora uses Gastric Swallow instead, applying a much longer cooldown to the spell but with no cost of Gastric Charges. All of Mandragora's Gluttony is consumed to heal him for a flat amount plus a percentage of his maximum health, and he gains armor and MR for 3 seconds based on how much Gluttony was consumed in the process. For each additional head, Mandragora also gains 5% lifesteal and spellbind for the same duration. When allowed to grow, Mandragora will be a menace. As long as you don't take too much damage, you can stack heads for a lot of extra damage and effects on both auto attacks and abilities. However, controlling how much damage you take is hard, especially in the early game. A good player will strike a fine balance between getting Gluttony to heal or grow another head, and playing on a safer distance or hiding in a jungle. Since your damaging ranged ability requires Gluttony to cast, it's not easy to lane with Mandragora, and he would especially suffer when facing a long-range kiting opponent. That's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it and you'll hear from me soon again. See ya!